I really think that is the reason why it worked out so well and how I was able to transition so quickly and efficiently and kind of get into the groove of being an electrician. What's up, everybody? Today, I'm going to tell you guys how I became an electrician. I just had the pleasure of being on Roger Wakefield's podcast /live/ doing a video with him. And he asked me some questions and it really prompted me to think about it. And so I wanted to share with you guys how I ended up joining and how I joined the apprenticeship. I actually went to college for a year, ended up leaving. Grades were fine, everything was good. However, it just wasn't for me. I really needed a change of scenery, needed some help making some better decisions. When I got away from that, I wandered around for about 4 or 5 months. I was working at a golf course and my dad recommended to me that I get into the trades. Now, for me, I was like, no way, I'm not listening to my father. I don't know if you have a father or if you have kids, but sons do not like to listen to their fathers. You fathers are never right when you're a certain age, and fathers also always think they're right. So it's a little both-sided. Really dreaded it and really did not want to join the trades at the time. Didn't understand what it really was. I kind of looked at it as a lower thing. I kind of looked at it like people who were unsuccessful did that, people who were unintelligent did that. And that's not it at all. There's actually so much opportunity. I do not enjoy school. However, I like to learn. I like to obtain information and kind of grow and be able to like piece things together. And so that's actually like what the trade is, especially electrical. It's like perfect for me. And so the misconception of that though, where, I thought there wasn't any money in it. I thought, I can't, it's not for people who are intelligent, completely wrong. And was kind of avoiding it because I thought it was a second class decision. Years later, I know the difference. And so that's really the purpose of this channel, is to help people, especially younger kids or people who haven't joined the trades yet, know what it's actually like to join the apprenticeship, to get rid of the stigma that construction workers are dumb and that people who work with their hands don't make any money and that it's just for people who don't have another option. It's just not true. I see it more and more where younger people are joining the trades. They're becoming good and they're applying themselves and they're making good money. It's possible. That's what I want to do, is help get rid of some of those stereotypes that we put on those things traditionally. Fought my dad on it for a long time. He kept telling me and I kept saying no. Eventually, I gave in and I started, looking around and reaching out because I was like, well, I don't want to keep working at this golf course. So started reaching out. I ended up looking around, started contacting companies. And one of the companies that I contacted was a really large contractor. And when I started talking to the hiring manager, who was also the manager over service at the time, we found out that we actually used to live by each other. And so through a series of questions, started trying to figure out which house that I lived in. We lived in the cul-de-sac and he lived across the way. And so he started asking me questions. And when he finally figured out which house it was, he was like, okay, so you live next to the crazy neighbor. You aren't the crazy neighbor. And so that was the fun thing. He was like trying to figure out if I was the one who has the house with the craziness going on, or if it was beside me. But made that relationship, that connection, ended up going to work for that company about a month later. And I'm non-union, so that's what it was for me. But I got connected with a company, and then from there, that company set me up. They got me in school. They got my apprenticeship started. They got everything started for me. And I didn't have to do any of it. I didn't have to worry about it. I didn't end up paying for anything except for some tools. And even that was so minimal up front. It was just an easy way to get my foot in the door. And from there, for the first couple months, retrofitted lights, which was interesting. And then after that, ended up putting in some fire alarm systems, learning how to bend pipe. And that was just about the first year of my apprenticeship. But overall, it really was eye-opening, and I fought it for so long. But when I finally did it, I gave in. There were some hard days. There were some days that I was like, especially at the beginning, you struggle so much sometimes to do stuff that's easy. As time goes along, you get better at it, and you just have to start off being the small dog, and eventually you can work your way up and be a little bit less of a pup. Sometimes we still are, or at least I still am. I started off with no experience, no mechanical skills at all, you guys. I was so green. My dad did some contracting and stuff like that. I never like went to work with him. I never did anything with him. I had no skills at all. I had no tools at all. I had nothing. But I took the chance and I stepped out, and I'm so glad that I did. And it really ended up being something that is more than just a job. It's a career. It's something that you can invest in, and it will, like, the more you put yourself in and apply yourself, the more you get in return, and it pays well, and it sets up your life for success. It's one of those things that there's a low cost of entry. Like, you don't have to, that's the hardest part about getting into a career, is getting the education. And usually you have to pay for that education, and you have to spend an amount of time learning. However, when you go into the trades, you just start working. And so instead of you having to work while you're going to school, you get to work and learn exactly, like, you're learning exactly what you're going to do as you go through it. You get paid to do it. You get paid to make mistakes. It's such a fantastic opportunity. That's how I got into the trades.